Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to Novation. I'm Shantanu and I welcome you all to another important static GK history session in which we are going to talk about the important viceroys of India and the significant event which happened under their rules. So friends, अगर आपने इसका पिछला पार्ट नहीं देखा है जिसमें हमने गवर्नर जनरल्स के बारे में बात की है, so please आप उस वीडियो को भी देखिएगा. You can find its link in the description and also on the top right corner of your screen. Okay, so this is going to be a very important session, hence please watch the video till the end and also attempt the assignment questions which will be at the end of this session. Alright, and as always you can contact me on any of these social media platform. If you require any help, I'll try to help you. And as always you can visit novation.in. Here you can find the free PDFs of these lectures and also get various quizzes. Also, if you like the content of Novation, you can go ahead and support us via donations. Alright friends, so with that we'll start today's session. So first we'll talk about Lord Canning, who was the first viceroy of the British Raj. And from here, what you need to know is the British Parliament is now controlling India. The whole power lies with the British Parliament and not with East India Company. Okay, so here the first only important thing that I want to discuss is the repealment of डॉक्ट्राइन ऑफ लैब्स. सो हमने पढ़ा था फ्रेंड्स लास्ट सेशन में कि जब लॉर्ड डलहौसी गवर्नर जनरल थे तो उनके टाइम पे डॉक्ट्राइन ऑफ लैब्स का सिस्टम इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था. सो इन दिस सिस्टम इफ अ प्रिंसली स्टेट, द किंग ऑफ द प्रिंसली स्टेट डाइज विदाउट अ मेल हायर, देन ब्रिटिश government or the British Raj will take over that state and the state will lose its princely status. So that law was repealed by Lord Canning. Okay. Next we'll talk about Lord Elgin I, who ruled from 1862 to 63. He was the viceroy. So under his rule, so Wahhabi movement, this is the important event which took place. So Wahhabi movement was basically a movement for the purification of Islam. Okay, so what at that time people were thinking was there was a lot of impure practices have creeped into Islam and they wanted to purify Islam again. So that's why Wahhabi movement was basically started. Next, coming to Lord John Lawrence. So Bhutan War, this was the Anglo-Bhutan War in which Britishers actually won the war, and this war ended with Treaty of Cinchula, जिसमें भूटान को अपनी कई सारी टेरिटरीज गंवानी पड़ी थी to the Britishers. Then setting up of high courts at Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. So that was also an important event. Coming to next, Lord Mayo. So he ruled from 69 to 72 and this is going to be an important one, so please be alert. He conducted the first census in 1872 and also established the Statistical Survey of India. Then he's also established the Mayo College, but this college was only for royal elite people. Okay. Then very important thing, he was the only viceroy in the history of India who was killed during the office. So he was in office and he was killed. He was killed by Sher Ali Afridi in Port Blair. So he was on a visit to this jail where Sher was present, Sher Ali, and at that time he murdered the viceroy. Okay, so after that Sher Ali Afridi was also sentenced to death. Next we have Lord Northbrook. So he ruled from 72 to 76. Important thing, he allowed the intercaste marriages in India. And then Kuka movement in Punjab. So Kuka movement was basically both kind of a religious and political movement. So Kuka people basically they were not into the mainstream Sikh religion, and they wanted to be a part of Sikhism, mainstream Sikhism. So that was the religious angle to this movement. And coming to the political angle, so these people, Kuka people, they were also against Britishers. They wanted to overthrow Britishers' rule from Punjab and want to set up the rule of Sikh community only. Okay, so that was the movement. Coming to next, Lord Lytton, very important, 1876 to 1880. First thing, he introduced the Vernacular Press Act of 1878. So this was kind of a very cruel act which actually crushed the freedom of press in India. All the vernacular languages were prohibited from writing anything against the Britishers. आप Britishers के बारे में कुछ भी गलत नहीं छाप सकते और you will face repercussions. So that was the Vernacular Press Act. Coming to Arms Act of 1878. So Indians were not allowed to produce or sell any kind of arms or any kind of weapons. They need to have strict licenses. बहुत सारे license लेना पड़ेंगे आपको, तभी आप आर्म्स रख सकते हो या खरीद सकते हो. सो दैट वाज अगेन वेरी मच ऑफ रिस्ट्रिक्टेड काइंड ऑफ एन एक्ट. Then he proclaimed Queen, under his rule, Queen Victoria was proclaimed as the Empress of India, and he also abolished tax on cotton for, especially only for British traders. This tax was not taken. Then minimum age for taking up the civil service exam was lowered from 21 to 19 years of age. Okay. Next we have Lord Ripon. So he is also very important. From 1880 to 84 he ruled. So it is said that he was the most loved viceroy of India because of his good stances which he has taken. So we'll see them one by one. He repealed the Vernacular Press Act of in 1882. So as we saw that this was Vernacular Press Act basically crushed the freedom of speech in India. So he basically repealed this Vernacular Press Act and gave the freedom back. Then the first Factory Act of 1881 was introduced by him to improve the labor condition in the factories of India. Then he was also considered as the father of self-government because he encouraged the local self-governments like panchayat, municipal boards. Okay, and that's the reason why he was called father of local government. This is a very important point. He also established two universities, Punjab Universities and Allahabad University. Then one important controversy which happened during his rule was Ilbert Bill. So what this bill used to say was that even Indian judges, if they are qualified, they can be presiding over the cases in which victims or in which a convict can be European or Britishers. Okay, so British people, they were very much enraged by this and they said that this cannot be tolerated. कि कोई भी इंडियन जज हमें ट्रायल करे वो हम बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे. So there was a lot of controversy surrounding it. He also appointed the Hunter Commission in 1882. So this time Hunter Commission was commissioned to suggest some kind of educational reforms, how universities and education of India can be reformed. So that was the Hunter Commission of 1882. Coming to Lord Dufferin, he ruled from 84 to 88, and only one important event I want to quote is the formation of the Indian National Congress was founded in 1885. Okay, so this was the important event. Next, coming to Lord Lansdowne, he ruled from 88 to 1894. So under his rule, Indian Councils Act of 1892 was introduced, and this act basically increased the number of additional or non-official members in the legislative councils. But still the powers which were given to India, or the representation which was given to Indian people, was very less in the legislative councils during the British Raj. So it was basically not that much educate to empower Indians. Then coming to Factory Act of 1891. So this act was again in the direction of making reforms in the factories and resolving the condition of laborers who work in factories. Okay. Next, coming to Lord Elgin II, who ruled from 94 to 99. So one important event, under his rule, two British officials were assassinated by Chapekar brothers in 1897. So the name of the person who were killed was Walter Charles Rand, who was a Indian civil service officer, and his escort, Lieutenant Ayerst. They were shot dead during the Diamond Jubilee of coronation of Queen Victoria. So Damodar Hari Chapekar and Balkrishna Hari Chapekar was found guilty and were hanged. So during Lord Elgin, this was the major event in which two officials were killed by Chapekar brothers. Coming to Lord Curzon, who ruled from 1899 to 1905. So under his rule, this act came Indian Universities Act of 1904, and this act was basically aimed at regulating the Indian universities. Like what they did was they reduced the size of Senate. Okay, जो Senate के members होंगे उसमें उन्होंने reduction कर दी. So that's how they were trying to basically regulate the Indian universities. Then very important event was partition of Bengal in 1905. So if I tell you what they did was they basically separated Bengal in terms of religion. So Eastern Bengal was having majority of Muslims and Western was having majority Hindus. So they divided the state into by the name of these religions. Okay, so this was on the communal lines completely. Basically the divide and rule policy which they usually played. Okay. Coming to Lord Minto II, he ruled from 1905 to 1910. So there was a split in Congress, Indian National Congress, during the सूरत सेशन ऑफ 1907। सो फ्रेंड्स, अगर आपने पुराने वीडियोस देखे हैं तो आपको पता होगा कि ड्यूरिंग द सूरत सेशन INC, इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस, was divided into extremists and moderates. So both these group were having different demands कि कौन इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस का हेड होना चाहिए, उसके लिए बहुत डिफरेंट डिमांड्स थी. ओके, एंड देयर अप्रोच वाज आल्सो डिफरेंट फ्रॉम मॉडरेट्स. एक्सट्रीमिस्ट वर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम देम. सो आप पुराने वीडियोस ज़रूर देखिएगा, आपको लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन सेक्शन में ज़रूर मिल जाएगा. देन स्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ मुस्लिम लीग. सो मुस्लिम लीग भी स्टैब्लिश हुआ था, उसका स्थापना हुआ था इन 1906. नेक्स्ट कमिंग टू मोरले मिंतो रिफॉर्म्स और द इंडियन काउंसिल्स एक्ट ऑफ 1909. सो इस एक्ट में भी दोस्तों जो लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल था उसकी सीट्स में इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ, बट यहाँ पर भी कम्युनल लाइंस पर ब्रिटिशर्स खेल रहे थे. व्हाट दे डिड वाज दे मेड सेपरेट इलेक्टोरेट्स फॉर मुस्लिम्स एंड सेपरेट फॉर हिंदूज, and only in those separate electorates of Muslims, only Muslim leaders could fight the elections and only Muslims could vote. So that's how they were trying to divide us on communal basis. Okay. Next, coming to Lord Hardinge second, 1910 to 1916. So under his rule, the British Parliament transferred the capital of India from Calcutta to Delhi in 1911, and Hindu Mahasabha was established by Madan Mohan Malviya in 1915. So these were the two important events. Next, coming to Lord Chelmsford of 1916 to 1921. So this is an important one. Launch of Champaran Satyagraha, Kheda Satyagraha at Ahmedabad. So these satyagraha were launched by Mahatma Gandhi, and Champaran Satyagraha was basically related to the farmers' agitation in Bihar. Okay, you can read more about it because if we go into depth, then the video will be a very long one. So please do read about all these three events. Coming to the Rowlatt Act, so this was again a very cruel act which was passed by the British Parliament to get more and more grip on the power over the common people of India. So if I tell you like what happened in this act was, they can arrest anyone. Anyone can be arrested without any reason or without any trial. They can go to jail for 2 years. So that was the kind of cruel act this was. Then coming to the Jallianwala Bagh massacre of 1919. So in Amritsar, people were gathered during Baisakhi in the Jallianwala Bagh, and some were peacefully protesting, some were actually there for Baisakhi. But General Dyer, he came there, and without any warning he started shooting people, and there was a lot of chaos. Around 1000 people died during that firing, and around 1600 people were brutally injured. British government has till now never said sorry about that. Okay, so that was really hurtful. Then launch of non-cooperation Khilafat movement में हिंदू और मुस्लिम्स दोनों साथ थे. They were against the British Raj. Okay. Now coming to Lord Reading, he ruled from 1921 to 1926. The important event is the Chauri Chaura incident. So in 1922, the non-cooperation movement under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi was going really good. But then this incident happened in which the protesters who were involved in non-cooperation movement, they clashed with the policemen in Chauri Chaura, and then in that clash many policemen were killed, around 20 policemen were killed, and this led to the withdrawal of non-cooperation movement by Mahatma Gandhi. Why? So Mahatma Gandhi wanted it to be completely peaceful. He did not wanted any kind of violence. So जैसे ही non-violence की चीज़ ख़त्म हुई, वहाँ पर violence हुआ. He was really badly hurt, emotionally hurt, and then he stopped this non-cooperation movement. Okay. Next we'll talk about Lord Irwin, 1926 to 1931. So the first major event was the visit of Simon Commission in 1928 to India. So Simon Commission was nothing but a group of 7 British MP who came all the way from England to India so as to suggest certain constitutional reforms in India. Okay. So, people are coming from outside our country and telling us what reforms we should do. So that was the problem. No Indian representation was there in Simon Commission. So both Indian National Congress and the Muslim League, both of them were against it, and they boycotted the Simon Commission. And you must have heard about the famous slogan, "Go back, Simon." So this Simon Commission was heavily boycotted by India. And coming to the Dandi March by Mahatma Gandhi in March 12, 1930. So this was the launch of civil disobedience movement by Mahatma Gandhi. He basically made salt which was prohibited by law in the British government. So that's how he was showing the civil disobedience peacefully. Okay. Coming to the first roundtable conferences, so friends, there were many constitutional reforms which were to be done. So Britishers made various roundtable conferences. So there were 3 roundtable conferences were held with major stakeholders of India and of the Britishers. But the all the 3 roundtables were not very fruitful. There were many things which could not be implemented. So this was not very successful, these roundtable conferences. Next, coming to Lord Wellington of 1931 to 1936. So under his rule, 2nd and 3rd roundtable conferences were held, and the Government of India Act 1935 was passed, and this also brought down various constitutional reforms. Like it divided the power between the center and the states or the provinces, and there were 3 lists which gave subjects under each government, like federal list, provincial list and concurrent list. So these were the lists which gave various powers to these stakeholders were evolved. So these were the kind of reforms which were done in the Government of India Act of 1935. Now friends, coming to the assignment, आपको मुझे बताना है लॉर्ड लिंथगो, लॉर्ड वेवल एंड लॉर्ड माउंटबैटन के समय में क्या इंपॉर्टेंट इवेंट्स हुए थे. इन तीनों के बारे में आप मुझे ज़रूर कमेंट सेक्शन में ज़रूर बताइएगा. ओके. So friends, with that we come to an end to this exciting session. I hope the session was helpful. So I'll request you that please like the video, share it with your friends and subscribe to Novation for more such important videos on static GK, current affairs, business awareness, etc. And again, please visit novation.in, and if you like the content of Novation, please go ahead and donate to Novation, as we really need your support. Alright, so with that friends, I'll close today's session. I'll meet you again next time. Until then, bye bye and please take care.